As expected, folks, a 25 point or base point hike yesterday. Markets, like I said, was priced into that, and actually we saw a decent rally. Not as large as I expected, but pretty good generally. Let's get into everything to do with that and some big news out of Ukraine. Before I do, I update the spreadsheet. Just the first 26 coins I held, first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel. If you invested $100 into each one of these when I released the videos, you were still holding on that crypto, you'd be in profit for over 35 grand. Like I said, it's not, I say this all the time, it's not what I hold anymore. You want to see the coins I own, come check out Copy My Cryptos, where I share every coin I buy, every coin I sell, how I'm preparing my portfolio in the current market climate. We've never had this level of uncertainty during Bitcoin's lifetime. If you're unhappy with how your portfolio is prepared or what the next steps are, then you can come and see what I'm doing, and you can copy it. Exactly. One thing I do reiterate constantly, build a list of coins that you're really interested in long term. Because when a bear cycle kicks in and they retrace 60, 70%, you know, and if they're hitting their roadmaps, if they've got good partnerships, all these things, massive factors in if a coin can 50x, 100x, you know, Phantom ticked all the boxes for me when I got into it at 0.5%. And I've got a list of coins that I'm really watching closely over the next sort of couple of years in particular. But when a bear cycle kicks in, I'm going to be watching them even more intensely. And if I think they can 50 or 100x, I'll be sharing them with a couple of my crypto members. So if you want to see what they are, again, you can check it out. Links in the description. So Bitcoin sort of sitting pretty nicely around 40.8k. Ethereum has broken through a decent amount of resistance at 2,600. Generally, the market's, you know, closed pretty positively. So the next step really is seeing what's going to happen with the Fed and everything else. Now, the Fed obviously increased by 25 base points. This was expected. This was pretty much forecast. Jerome Powell had spoken about it, you know, like last month. So there was nothing really surprising. He also stated that there's going to be probably another 6 of these, you know, 6 base point hikes. Again, something anticipated. It's actually less than I thought. I thought there'd be 7 or 8, so 6 isn't too bad. So they voted to change the rate by 25 base points to a range of 0.25 to 0.5. Now it's going to be the first of many, with FOMC members pointing to 6 further rate hikes this year, the same as the market. The Fed actually sees the momentum for higher rates continuing into 2023, with the median projection being for the Fed funds hitting 2.8%, with them staying until 2024 before moving lower to a long-run trend of 2.4. You know, that's their goal, is they're trying to battle inflation. So it was always going to be a case. Now, one member wanted a more aggressive 50 base point move. And that's James Bullard, who's quite comfortably the most hawkish member of the Fed. However, uncertainty caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine was highlighted as a key risk for the economic outlook, and that level of rise could cause an immense amount of pressure on families across the country. So it would have created an additional upward pressure on inflation and weigh on economic activity, implying it was the key reason for the bulk of the committee backing a smaller hike. Should Russia-Ukraine talks reach a positive conclusion and tensions gradually ease, then we could see a larger rise. But as this aggression and conflict continues, there's a lot less, a much smaller chance of a larger base point hike. So inflation is remaining up around 8%. There's more evidence of a de-anchoring of inflation expectations, and the unemployment rate remains below 4%. The Fed are talking about effectively planning this out across the year and probably across the next 18 months. They didn't really touch too much on the balance sheet on how they want to shrink it. Right now, the balance sheet is $8.9 trillion, which is staggering. They're looking to end the year around 7.25 trillion by the end of 2023, which is still nearly double the level that it was at in 2019. So there's a lot of notes and bonds that the market would have to absorb for that to happen. But fundamentally, all of this, again, was priced into the market to the point that we actually saw a real positive bounce. Not just in crypto, we saw it in stocks. So one would expect that there's still probably a base point hike coming in May. We'll get more clarification on that soon, but that should be a 0.25%, 25 base point hike again in May. That we will see confirmation of that around the next sort of press conference Jerome Powell gives, and then we'll see how quickly that's priced into the markets. The other big news was Ukraine have signed a virtual assets bill into law, so they're legalized crypto. So the law determines the legal status, classification, ownership, and regulators of virtual assets, as well as setting registration requirements for crypto service providers. This was a statement released by the Ministry of Digital Transformation. The state body is tasked with shaping and pursuing a policy in the field of virtual assets, determining the order of circulation of virtual assets, issuing permits to the service providers, and carrying out supervision and financial monitoring in the area. Ukraine have actually received $100 million or over in crypto donations over the past 3 weeks from people who are just supporting them. Now, with this coming into fruition, this is another country. I know that this is more of a reaction to ensuring that their fiat, that citizens have another opportunity outside of their local fiat currency. But, and it's more of a reaction to the current conflict. However, it's a long-term vision. So Ukraine are now, and the citizens within Ukraine can now utilize crypto to invest in. And this is a good step. It's a good step, another country doing it. We've already seen this from multiple countries now. So again, it's just another wave of retail investors that can get into the space. Some will, some won't, of course. But even if it's just 2 or 3% of the citizens do it, it's just a wave of money coming in again. So again, bodes really well for crypto long term. And we'll see this more and more and more and more. I've been saying that for bloody months, that we were going to see this wave beginning and continuing. And we're going to see multiple countries start doing this. So, and again, that ramps up the amount of retail investment that can happen. And while crypto has a lot of sort of understanding that's required, there's the barriers to entry are so much smaller for crypto than it is for stocks and shares, because you don't have to deal with a middleman in the same way that you do with crypto. You can literally just go onto an exchange and buy. A lot of people will probably buy the safest stuff because that tends to be what people do, especially people that are new to the space. So they'll buy a lot of Ethereum, they'll buy a lot of Bitcoin. But it bodes very, very well for another wave of money coming into the market. And when we see more of this from, the bigger global powerhouses of America, UK, then we'll start seeing again another wave of money coming in. But the market does look like it's, well, certainly Bitcoin's holding really strong really well above 37k. The biggest target point and the biggest resistance level is around 44 at the moment. That is, or 44.5, that's the key level. But things looking generally positive. Generally pretty positive. And tapering doesn't look like it's going to be so brutal. So we shouldn't see a taper tantrum for certainly not this month. Maybe May if they do a base point hike and stronger tapering. But we'll have announcements about that down the line. And yeah, that's it for me. Hope you're all keeping very, very well. If you're new to crypto or you've been in crypto a while and you are just not happy with the balance of your portfolio, you're not happy with how you're prepared for the market to go super bullish or super bearish, and you can see exactly what I'm doing on Copy My Crypto. It's how I share every coin I buy, every coin I sell, but not just that. I share how I'm preparing my portfolio if things go very, very bullish or very, very bearish. So if you want to be a part of that, click the link in the description and check it out. Anyway, take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.